Welcome back. It's about time for us to have a motivation conversation. Oluwatobi Alli is a dynamic speaker, author, certified life coach, and capacity development trainer. Someone with over 12 years experience in training and coaching. Today, we're talking about something really interesting. This issue of failure. Falling in love with failure, you say.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I would have wanted to fall in love with it, but I want to find out where you're going with this particular topic. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
It's always great having you on the show because you have a really interesting take on certain topics. Now, from school, from childhood, we've always associated failure with our parents beating us when we come back from school with, an F.
True.
And I know it's probably happened to most people.
Yes.
You could have done better.
Very
Or
true.
do you have two heads? Or rather, does the person
Mates.
that got an A have two
Exactly.
heads, etc., etc.? So why would you say we should find a way to fall in love with failure?
Yeah, so one of the challenges that people fail to realize, and I think, like you mentioned, that is is ingrained in us by our parents, is that people associate failing with a finality, and they forget that there is nobody who is successful today. Even the so-called guy that came first and they came second, there was once a time he didn't come first.
Okay.
Or he probably didn't even come first in some other subjects. So there is a misconception about people not being their best, and people thinking that it has to be something that is wrong with that person, or it has to mean that the person is less than those who have succeeded, not knowing that every single person fails. Every single person fails. Yes.
Everyone fails.
Yes.
Now, I remember there's a saying, I don't have the exact quote, about how many times Thomas Edison tried to create the light bulb.
999 times.
999 times.
Yes.
He said he discovered ways not
to create the light bulb. Exactly.
So in other words, do you think failing multiple times is equal to greatness?
Yes, exactly. In some way. So let me put it this way. Before you come across success, you must come across failure.
Okay.
It is not possible for you to succeed in something without first failing in it. Okay. In fact, I will put it this way. If you have not failed at something, you should worry. Because what that means is that whatever success you think you are getting from it, you are actually not yet successful, because a time will come that will prove to you that your so-called success is actually not success. Because one thing I learned this from one of my, inspirational mentors. This man is crazy. One thing I learned, he said to me, and I'll never forget, he said, success is a lousy teacher. It teaches you nothing.
Okay.
It only just gives you a bloated ego. But that failure is your greatest teacher, because the truth is, when you fail at something, like you mentioned about Thomas Edison, you know how not to, fail at that thing again. That means you are closer to success when you fail. Okay. And if you are in a particular field, or you are doing a particular thing and you have not yet failed, it means that there are some lessons that you have still not learned. So if I want to bring some balance to it, failure is a finality. That's when you accept that, you know what, I'm never going to succeed at that thing. I would prefer you say, if you fail, you can always get up. Okay. But once you decide that, you know what, I am not going to attempt to try to succeed at this thing, and you put a finality at it, then you are a failure. And no one is actually a failure until you've made up your mind not to, try again. Okay,
so now let's touch on relationships.
Yes.
In terms of marriage or long-term relationships.
Yes.
Are you trying to say that those who have been burnt, or they've been served breakfast, as they say now, are...
cold turkey.
Exactly. So in the end, are you saying that this was meant to happen in order for them to have a successful relationship later on?
Yeah, exactly. So I want to put it this way, that the way the universe works, we evolve and we learn by failing. So we don't learn by succeeding, we learn by failing. So if, for instance, if people have had like 6 relationships, in that first relationship, maybe you used to talk over your partner and won't allow even your partner speak, you learn from that. Okay. Right? So it's not even necessarily the experiences we are going through, it's the lessons we are learning from the painful experiences that we get as a result of failing in those things. So I believe that every opportunity where you fail is an opportunity to learn. That doesn't mean that, oh, you should always keep failing, but you should have it at the back of your mind that failing is not a finality until you accept it that way. So learn the lessons you need to learn and move on from there.
Some people have made some very expensive attempts to succeed and have failed woefully. I'm talking about people investing millions of whatever currency into businesses, into partnerships.
You're looking at someone, one of them here.
And, you know, it just feels really hard to come back from that.
Yes.
So it feels like it's easy to just say, learn from it and move on.
Yes.
But what are the steps to doing that?
So the first thing you need to, a smart person, what you need to figure out is, why did I fail? Okay, if it's in terms of investment, my risk analysis, was it enough? Is it a risk I could have prevented? Was it a black swan event? Because there's black swan events that no matter whatever you prepare for. So even in business, let me put it this way. Risk, you can't avoid risk. You can only manage risk. So let's put it that way. Failure in business, some people see it as risk. You can only manage it. You can only mitigate it. So the smart thing to do is, why did this happen? Can I prevent it in the future? Are there steps, in fact, that I need to put in place to identify them before they arrive? Because this is the truth of the matter. If you think you are never going to fail, or you think risks are never going to come, you are living in fool's paradise. If God himself, at a point, wanted to create things, and he didn't stop until his desire came into being, people need to realize that you just need to embrace failing. But learn the lessons you need to learn very quickly, so that when they come again, you know how to win. And expect that as you pass one level, a different kind of failing will come in a new way, and you're learning that way. Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So now there is also this mindset and stigma that has come with failure.
Yes.
People that have seen other people fail. For instance, someone who viewed you as a failure in a particular business, not wanting to invest
in you anymore. Yes.
What advice do you have for them?
Well, for people like that, your life. So the same people that said you are a failure, when you succeed again, they easily forget. So this is something I've also come to realize. Human beings have amnesia for failure.
Wow.
When you are failing, they remember. But as soon as you become successful, it seems all your failures was never a part of you. So in my own opinion, prove them wrong, succeed once again, and they will forget that you failed. All right.
Yes. So I'll go this way now.
Yes.
Some people don't realize when they failed.
Yes, true.
It's not as obvious when they failed. Or let's say they live in some sort of denial of this failure.
Yes.
What are the pros and cons of being in this particular situation?
Well, if they are in that kind of situation, I can say that a bigger failing is coming that will make them, if they are not careful, lose their confidence. Okay. Because no man, I want to repeat it again, no man, no woman, no matter how smart you are going to fail. So if you get to a point where you are living in a bubble where you feel, even when you failed, you think you didn't fail, there is something that is going to come that will shock you out of your socks, that will now bring reality to you and remind you that in humanity, failing is part of our normal experiences. It's what we do with that failing that even defines we as successful human beings and we as
even
failures.
if you bring religion into it, because some people just say, I did not fail. You know, I'm not a fail. You know, and I'm an advocate of speaking positively.
Same here.
So in other words, yes, they're in denial of that actual apparent failure.
Yes. Yes.
But don't you think they're speaking success into their lives by claiming they've not failed?
So let me use people of faith's biggest example, Jesus the Christ. That's for Christians. What do you think the devil came to do when he came to meet Jesus at 33 and telling him, you are the Son of God, and the best that we can tell about your life is that you are the son of a carpenter. You have not been able to do anything. So you need to understand that temptation of Jesus saying, if you are the Son of God, do this and do that. What he was telling Jesus is, you are a failure. Okay. If at 33, you say you have all this power, you have all this knowledge, and there's really nothing about you. But guess what happened? When did he overcome that? He realized that, you know what? It is not about what I have done. It's about who I am and who I'm going to be from then. Now, look at what happened after that temptation. Jesus goes on to succeed. That's what you do. That's how you succeed. You need to realize, a man of faith, you pray all the prayers, you do all the fasting, you do all the sowing. There are things you will fail at. That's where you take another scripture that says, all things work together for the good of they that love God and those who are called according to his purpose. Look at people like Joseph. That guy failed, but his failing, in quote, in some way, was still what he used to rise to become successful. And why is also this important? When we fail, we become more empathic about others who have failed, and we learn lessons on how to also help them out of their own failures.
Oluwatobi Alli, honestly, whenever you step onto this set, I know that something happens in this particular atmosphere, and I know you're connecting with our audience beyond imagination. Now, you should use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC if you have any comments and contributions on what we're talking about. Have you ever tried to connect, at least, even if you haven't fallen in love with failure? That's the question for you. Thank you so much.
A pleasure.
Thank you for having me.